Good afternoon, students. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's start our class. So last class we discussed about concrete, right? What was the last topic we discussed in concrete? Anyone remember? We basically went through the history. We studied about the ingredients of concrete, right? Then mixing of hand mixing and machine mixing. Then we studied about a little bit of RMC, advantages of RMC, types of concrete, based on binding material, design of concrete and purpose of concrete, types of concrete. We studied about plain cement concrete, reinforced cement concrete. Then we went through pre-stressed concrete also, right? Okay. We studied about vacuum concrete also, air entrant concrete also, lightweight concrete also. Okay, so let's start with this slide. Have you discussed this part? See, I have to take so many classes, so I used to forgot sometime. Roughly, I say, remembered that okay, we went through this slide, right? Okay, and water cement ratio also we studied, right? Okay, we were about to study the concrete test. Yes, got it. So let's start with various tests on concrete. So it is broadly classified into two major types. One is destructive test, another is non-destructive test. Okay, there are various tests, but broadly we classify these tests in two categories, and these are the categories. So we'll study the categories one by one. Let's start with destructive test. As the name suggests, destructive, that means when you do the test, your material get disturbed. Okay, now number one is the compressive strength test, and number two is the spill tension test. This test is very important for your project or your any throughout the life. If you are in related to civil engineering jobs, this test is very important. You will need everywhere compressive strength test. What we do, let's see, we'll study it briefly. Sorry, yes, the next one is spill tension test. Now, so the compressive strength, the compressive strength of any material is defined as the resistance to failure under the action of compressive force. So, what is the resistance it gives to the failure under the action of compressive force? Suppose you apply a load, and suppose there is a rubber band. Just take an example of rubber band. You are stretching it. It will take your resistance. It will take the resistance of the load you are applying to on it. But after some time, it will fail. So the point at which it will fail, that is its compressive strength. That this much strength it can take. After this, it will fail. Okay. Now, test for compressive strength is carried out either on cube or cylinder. So, basically, what we do, we make a cube of 150 by 150 by 150 mold in a lab, and we test those cubes based on 7 days, 14 days, and 28 days curing. Okay, and then after 7, we used to make 3 cubes for cube. Cube is in this shape. I will not discuss the American society as we are Indian, so I'll discuss with Indian society, Indian standard. Okay, these were the shape of cube. We used to make 3 cubes for every sample. Then we used to place these cubes in water. Okay, after placing concrete on these molds, we after 24 hours we used to demold the cubes. Then we used to place these cubes in water for 7, 14 and 20 days, 28 days. Okay, after 7 days we do the test and we see how much strength it got. After 14 days we used to test how much its strength got, and after 28 days, suppose I am constructing a M20 cube, M20 cube, let me draw M20 cube. So after 28 days, it will give me strength of 20 or 19 point something. If it gives me strength near to 19 and 20, so that is my procedure of making those cube is good. Okay. So basically, concrete at various ages. At one day, it used to get 16% strength. On third day, it used to get 40%. On 7 days, it used to get 65%. On 14 days, it used to get 90%. And on 28 days, it used to get 99% of the strength. The strength of concrete increases with age. See, read each and every line. Every line is important. Strength of concrete increases with age. Age is depending here: 1 day age, 3 days age, 7 days age, 14 and 18. Basically, these three are important. You may be asked at 14 days how much strength a concrete cube is to get. So it will be 90%. On 7 day, it will be 65%. So the table shows the strength of concrete at different ages in comparison with the strength at 20 days after casting. Now, spill tension test. Okay, just give me a minute. As this test is important, let me share another PPT based on this test. Okay, just give me a minute. Screen is visible. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So let's see briefly on this test. It is the capacity of a material or structure to withstand axially directed pushing forces. When the limit of compressive strength is reached, brittle materials are crushed. The compressive strength is used to determine the hardness of cubical and cylindrical specimen of concrete. Basically, we in India we generally used to cast cubical shapes. Okay, cylindrical shapes basically in this is an American standard. They used to construct a cylindrical. Basically, we used to cast cubical shape. The strength of concrete specimen depends upon cement, aggregate, bond, water cement ratio, curing temperature, and size of specimen. Okay, so read this, very important. The strength of concrete specimen depends upon cement, aggregate, water cement ratio. What is the curing? Curing is you when you cast the concrete and demold. After demolding, you place those concrete cubes in the water bathtub for 7, 14 and 28 days. Okay. I mean, you will keep it for 28 days. After 7 days, you take out, you wait for some time. When it get little dry, then you do the test. And next is size of specimen. The standard size cube specimen is of size 15 centimeter. So it will be 150 by mm, 150 by mm, 150 by mm, like this if you convert in mm. If the largest nominal size of the aggregate does not exceed 20 mm, 10 centimeter size cubes may also be used as an alternative. You can use a 10 centimeter size also. Cylindrical test specimen have a length equal to twice the diameter. They are 15 centimeter in diameter and 30 centimeter long. Suppose if you cast cylindrical shape, then you have to see that the length is equal to twice the diameter. Whatever the diameter we are selecting, the length should be twice. They are 15 centimeter in diameter and 30 centimeter long. Now next is that compaction of the concrete with neither segregation nor excessive lightness. The concrete is filled into the mold in 3 layers approximately 5 centimeter deep. For cubical specimen, in no cases should the concrete be subject to less than 35 strokes per layer for 15 centimeter or 25 strokes per layer for 10 centimeter cubes. So see, let me show first you the figure. So this is the compression test machine. We'll see in our labs in ADTU. When you go to the lab, you must have got in material testing lab also earlier, in earlier semesters. This is also a test machine. This is manual. This is automatic. You apply the load. This is manual. Okay. So see, this is the concrete cube. You apply the load. At some time when it won't be able to take the load, so it will get crushed. Okay. So basically, test procedure is the test method covers determination of compressive strength of cube concrete specimen. It consists of applying a compressive axial load to mold cubes at a rate which is within a prescribed range until failures occurs. These are the apparatus you required: weighing machine, tools and containers for mixing, tampers, testing machine and 3 cubes, 150 mm side. You prepare a concrete mix with proportions suggested such as 1:2:4. So this is M20. You can take M15, M10, whatever ratio you want. You take that proportion with water cement ratio. You can take 0.4 to 0.5, zero point 0.5 up to you, which is suggested to you. Here they have taken the 0.55. Prepare three testing cubes. Make sure that they can clean and greased and oiled thinly. Metal molds should be sealed to their base plates to prevent loss of water. So there will be a cube shaped mold. You have to place those concrete paste in those molds. Fill the cubes in 3 layers. You have to fill the molds in 3 layers. One layer after one layer, there should be this 35 is American standard. With we generally go for 25 strokes. One layer 25 strokes. Another one layer 25 strokes. And why we provide this? Why we do this tampering? To remove the voids between them. Okay. Fill the molds completely, smooth off the tops evenly, and clean up any concrete outside the cubes. Leave the specimen in the curing room for 24 hours. After that, open the molds and immerse the concrete cubes in a water basin for 7, 14, or 28 days. Before testing, ensure that all testing machine bearing surfaces are wiped clean. Carefully center the cube on the lower platen and ensure that the load will be applied to opposite cast faces of the cube. Without shock, apply and increase the load continuously at a nominal rate within a range of this to this until no greater load can be sustained. So basically this is the procedure of getting compressive strength test. Okay, now let's get back to our PPT. So hope you have understood compressive strength, and you can get numerous of materials in Google about this test. You can go through. Okay. Now next is field tension test. The tensile strength of concrete is one of the basic and important properties. How much is the tension test? Basically, concrete don't take tension. It is good in compressive strength. Splitting tensile strength test on concrete cylinder is a method to determine the tensile strength of concrete. Concrete is very weak in tension due to its brittle nature, and it is not expected to resist the tension. So concrete is not good in taking tension load. Tension load you understood na? Suppose this is a material, you are extending it. This is tension load. Okay. Compression load is like this. You are applying a force. Just like in compressive strength test, we place the concrete cube and we are applying load from this direction and this direction. This is tension test, means you are applying tension in outward direction. So concrete is basically very weak in, if someone asks concrete is weak in, it's weak in tension and strong in compressive strength. Okay. So this is about destructive tests. See, if you see these tests, in these tests, your concrete used to get disturbed. Okay. Now there are some non-destructive tests. Without destroying those cubes, you can find out the health of, you can say health or the properties of the concrete. So one is rebound hammer test, another is penetration resistant test. An instrument rebound hammer is used to find the strength of the concrete. So basically this is used when those buildings after 30 years, 40 years are old buildings, to know the strength of concrete, how much load, how much till which year it can sustain the load and all. We use rebound hammers, which weighs around 1.8 kg, which is very light in weight and is suitable for both laboratory and field work. You can carry in your bag. It is very lightweight. It consists of a spring control hammer mass that slides on a plunger with a tubular housing. It is a gun, you can say. There is some button you can press, and one kind of hammer will stuck to the surface, and it will tell you the uh, strength, how much strength the concrete has. The hammer is forced against the surface of the concrete by spring, and rebound number is measured on a scale. That reading is called rebound number. So limitation is it provides an inexpensive but accuracy of plus minus 15 to plus minus 20% is possible only for specimens. So this is the rebound hammer test. Now penetration resistance test, when a probe having a fixed amount of energy driven into the concrete, the depth of penetration depends on the hardness of concrete. For standard test condition, the penetration is inversely proportional to the compressive strength of concrete, but the relation depends on the hardness of aggregate. The probe has a diameter of 0.25 and length this. It is driven into concrete by firing a powder charge that develops energy of this much. So this is the penetration resistance test. This is the probe. they just insert it. So it generally studies the cracks in the concrete. So it just tell you how if after earthquake, basically after earthquake we used to see many cracks in our house. So you can by this method you can study how deep that crack is. If that crack is very deep, though it is very bad for you. But if that deep is not that much deep, so you can neglect those cracks. Okay, so with this method you can this. Now these are the physical tests. Slum test, it is conducting before concrete. It is used for the purpose of slum test is to determine the water content in concrete and its workability. How much water content in is this test and how much workable is that? Basically, to know the workability of concrete, we is to perform the slum test. Okay. These are the equipments required for slum test. This is the slum cone, steel rod, base plate, trowel to mix concrete. This is the ruler. You can see the height. These are the procedure. Fill the cone 1 by 3, full by volume and rod 25 times with 5.8 each diameter. So after making the concrete, you place the material. This is C. This is the base plate. This is the slum cone. This is the base plate. Over that they have kept the slum cone and they are filling the concrete here. After each layer, used to give 25 tampering with this steel rod. Okay. Fill 2 by 3 full by volume, rod this layer. Okay, same step. Fill the cone to its top level, this layer 25 with rods penetrating but not through second layer. Remove the excess concrete and level the surface. So when you have to fill, basically you have to fill this cone in 3 layers by giving same 25 blows or tempering. Then after you have to fill till the surface of this cone. You have to fill the concrete till the surface and you have to level the surface. You have to remove the excess concrete from the surface. Then you have to pull this cone in one go by with the help of these two hands. You can you handle. Okay, they have shown you. Just see, this is the way. Okay, so this is the process one layer 25 tampering, second layer 25 tampering, third layer 25 tampering. They in this step they have removed the excess concrete and they have pulled out the slump cone. Now they have measured the slump height. They have inverted it with its top surface. They have inverted the slump cone and with this level they have measured. So this, from this to this is your slump height. Okay, this will let you know how your concrete is workable or not and what is the type of slump. Okay, how to measure the slump, just see. Now slump value for different concrete. For mass concrete and road work, your slump value should be 25 to 5 centimeter. For ordinary beams and slab, this will be slab. Okay, this will be slab. It will be 5 to 10 centimeter. For columns and retaining wall, it should be 7.5 to 12.5. So these are the general guidelines. If your slump should be within range, this for this work. For beams 5 to 10. For columns and retaining wall 7.5 to 12.5 centimeter. Now it is workability of concrete. Amount of work required to place concrete and to compact it thoroughly. Basically, how easy a concrete can be placed on a casting surface is known as workability. It increases with the addition of water, but it reduces the strength. That's why it is not a desirable way of increasing the workability. You can increase the workability. See, if you have made the paste, you can take an example of cake batter. If you add too much of water, milk on that, boys may not be aware of cake batter. Just simply assume a paste, powder paste. If you add too much of water, it will be very fluid, right? It will flow. And if you add less water, it will be very thick paste. So your water is very important. But you cannot decide on you can water cannot be a deciding factor in terms of workability. That the main is water cement ratio, how much cement you have you have provided, and how much water you have provided. So in average, if you come to a conclusion that your concrete shouldn't be very flowy and shouldn't be very thick, okay, it should be workable, and it can be placed very, and it can be tempered, and it can be compact thoroughly in the casting surface. Now, placing of concrete. After mixing of concrete, it should be placed within 30 minutes of adding water. It should be quickly transported to the place of line by means of manually or by pumping. So you should not delay the placing of concrete more than 30 minutes. In ready mix concrete, when they transport the concrete from factory to the site, they use some plasticizer, which increases the setting time. Okay, but if you are doing the manually, you shouldn't wait more than 30 minutes for placing the concrete. It should not be dropped from a height, as it would cause segregation of aggregates. So there should be some standard height from where you should drop the concrete to the surface. It's not like that you are dropping from very high height to the surface. It will What will happen? The aggregates will separate out. In placing, concrete should be laid in thin layers, each layer being thoroughly compacted before the next one is laid. So if you see slab has a thickness, right? It will be 120 mm to 125 mm. So all the thickness, when you apply the one layer, you should be compact it thoroughly, then apply the top layer over that. Now, compaction of concrete. It is very important in developing qualities like strength, durability, imperviousness by making the concrete dense and free from voids. So, you may have seen when in your house or nearby construction, before when they cast the slab, slab, concrete column. There is a machine called vibrator. They used to vibrate the concrete, because it allows, there are some connections of reinforcement where concrete doesn't reach. So vibrator helps there in joints, basically in joints concrete doesn't get in there. So vibrator helps those concrete to fill those space, and also vibrator helps in reducing any voids in concrete. Okay, in case of important and big works, compaction of concrete is done with vibrator. Yes. Use of vibrator is best and the most efficient way of compacting concrete. It gives very dense concrete. Care should be taken not to make excessive use of vibrators, otherwise the concrete becomes non-homogeneous. So it is a process of what is compaction, basically expelling the entrapped air. From the experiments, it is found that 1% of air in the concrete approximately reduces the strength by 6%. Okay. So these are the various vibrators: immersion or needle vibrators, external or shutter vibrators, surface vibrators, vibrating table. These are the different vibrators you can use. They have given the examples: vibrating table, needle vibrator. See, these are the needle vibrator. This is the needle vibrator. This is the surface vibrator in slab casting. Now, the most important is curing of concrete. The process of keeping concrete wet to enable it to attain full strength is known as curing. So after casting, you should apply water, uh, you can say till 1 to 3 weeks to get its full strength. The objective of curing is to prevent loss of moisture from concrete due to evaporation or because of any other reasons. It should be done for a period of 3 weeks but not less than 7 days. Okay, you can go for 3 weeks is better. You can do also 2 weeks till 2 weeks, but it should be more. It should not be less than 7 days. To do curing, any one of the following method can be used. The surface of concrete is coated with a layer of bitumen or similar other waterproofing compound which gets into the pores of concrete and prevent loss of water from concrete. So basically, you can do those bags. What bags? I don't know. Bori. Have you heard the word bori? Many people used to do used to what they used to do. They used to wet those boris and they used to place uh, over the surface for curing. Okay, that's also a way of curing. It is concrete surface covered with waterproof paper or with a layer of wet sand. It could also be covered bags. So this is a one process of curing. They are applying waters, and these are the papers you can see. It won't allow evaporation of water. See, they are spreading the water with the help of pipe, and they are placing the paper, or we can say water proofing sheets. So they won't allow this water to evaporate. It will be there. These papers will prevent the evaporation of this water, and this way it will cure. Okay. See, they have applied somewhere plastics. Surface curing. See, these are the boris I was talking about. They used to get place these boris over the surface, and they used to supply water over this. This is to prevent the evaporation of water. Now, qualities of good concrete. Number one is strength. It should be able to withstand the stress that it is subjected to. It is quite strong in compression but weak in tension. Durability. Strength, durability. It should be durable enough to resist the effect of weathering agents. So your concrete should be durable. It shouldn't be happen that you have cast it today and after 10 days, after 1 year, it starts deteriorating. So it should be durable. It should be well compacted so that there are no voids or hollows left. It should weigh 3000 kg per cubic meter. So this is the standard weight of concrete. Water tightness. When used for construction of water retaining structures such as dams, elevated tanks, and water reservoirs, then this property of concrete becomes very important. So otherwise the moisture inside the RCC would corrode steel and leakage would start resulting in the ultimate failure of the structure. So those structures, if you see the Saraighat bridge, those spires or you can say foundations. So the concrete used on those foundation is water tightness. They don't get affected with the water in the water. Otherwise, what will happen? They will absorb the moisture from water and it will reach to the reinforcement. And you know, those reinforcement are they can corrode in the presence of moisture, right? So this should be one of the important properties. Now, workability, it should be easily workable. Resistance to wear and tear when used in floors and in the construction of roads. The concrete should be able to withstand abrasive forces. So there shouldn't be any friction. Concrete as a material, literally forms the basis of our modern life. In roadways and transportation system, we use concrete. In airstrips, in infrastructure, you can take an example of bridge, dam, buildings, harbor production, break walls, water distribution pipes and conduits. They are all constructed with the help of concrete. Now, what are the advantages? It is concrete ingredients are easily available. It can be easily handled and molded to any desired shape. You can make any desired shape of your choice with the help of concrete. It can be easily transported from the place of mixing to place of casting before initial set takes place. It can be pumped or sprayed to fill into cracks and lining of tunnels. So if there are some cracks, you can place this concrete also. Using steel as reinforcement, it is possible to build any structure be it lintel or a massive flyover. Yes, with the concrete is weak in tension, but when you apply with in combination with the reinforcement, you can construct very large buildings. You can take an example of Burj Khalifa. Then the monolithic character of concrete gives it better appearance and much rigidity to the structure. It possesses high compressive strength, makes a concrete structure more economical than steel structure. Now these are the some advantage. Always, if something has some advantage, it will have some disadvantage also. It is low tensile strength. It has low tensile strength. Therefore, it is required to be reinforced to avoid cracks. In long structures, expansion joints are required to be provided if there is large temperature variation in the area. Due to drying, shrinkage, and moisture expansion, concrete may crack. Therefore, construction joints are provided to avoid these types of cracks. If soluble salt is present in concrete, then it may lead to efflorescence when comes in contact with moisture. Same is in brick. So thank you for this class. Basically, concrete is over. The next class will go with new topic. Okay. So thank you. Regarding attendance, write all of you write your roll numbers. Don't leave the class. Just let me take the screenshot of the participant list. Okay, those who wrote their roll number, they can leave.